how snow is still affecting campus driving, a new coffee shop at the Memorial Union, and a new towering landmark. You're watching Bison Information Network News. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We begin tonight with coverage of the winter weather campus had while we were on break, and its remains are still widely seen. On December 29th, Fargo received over a foot of snow, creating a no travel advisory for 2 days in the metro. 15th Avenue North near campus was closed in certain areas for over a week. Since then, the weather has calmed down. Allowing for City Public Works to remove snow from streets. The 40-degree high we received on Sunday was the first time since before Thanksgiving the area had that high of a temperature. Driving conditions near campus have improved since December 29th, but high snow drifts continue to create visibility issues for making turns. This is video of the intersection at Administration Avenue and University Drive near the Alumni Center. Drivers looking to turn right onto University need to use extra caution because of the obstructed view the snowbank creates. This type of intersection has been referred to as, quote, peek and pray, since it's difficult for some drivers to see around the corner. University police recommend all drivers to use good judgment while driving on campus roads and always wear your seatbelt. There's been much more of a buzz at the heart of campus, and not just the excited kind. Bison Information Network reporter Lindsay Iverson asked students what they thought of the new Caribou Coffee at the Memorial Union.
Big changes came to the Memorial Union over winter break when the old coffee shop was replaced with a brand new Caribou Coffee. Although lines are long, the question still remains, what's students' opinions on having a name brand coffee shop in the center of campus?
So I'm here at Caribou Coffee to get the students' opinion of the new addition at Memorial Union.
So what's your guys' opinion of having Caribou at the Memorial Union?
I love it, but I'm spending way too much money now.
I'm the same way, honestly. All my money's going to this.
So what's your opinion of having Caribou at the Memorial Union?
I like it. Caribou's my favorite.
All week, Caribou has had different deals for each day to celebrate their grand opening.
So what's your guys' favorite Caribou coffee drink?
A blended turtle mocha with dark chocolate.
I don't necessarily have a favorite. I usually always try something different.
Lindsay Iverson, Bison Information Network News.
Caribou opens weekdays at 7 a.m. and is closed on weekends. NDSU's Sanford Health Athletic Complex will make upgrades that will allow for fans of all walks of life to more easily enjoy an event. The university and SHAC facilities management have agreed to make these changes after not being fully in compliance with the Americans with Disabilities Act. The biggest upgrade will be creating 40 wheelchair seating spaces across the arena, and each must have an accompanying spot. Modifications also need to be made to concession stands, door handles, and drinking fountains, among others. A U.S. attorney involved with the case called these oversights, quote, inadvertent. Under the agreement, these changes must be made at the end of 2020, and NDSU says they'll ensure they won't interfere with any activities. Stop us if you've heard this one before. NDSU football is a national champion again. I was on the field shortly after the game ended to capture NDSU's emotions. This national championship game was almost a microcosm of the day in Frisco itself. Tough and gloomy at the start to bright and joyful at the end. After a 17-play opening drive by James Madison, NDSU immediately responded, and 48 minutes later, the Bison were crowned national champions for the 8th time in the last 9 seasons. Fans flooded the field, confetti flew, and pandemonium ensued. A third straight national championship, especially sweet for this group of seniors.
I'm just blessed, man. Bison Nation's the best, and I had the best 4.5, 5 years here, man, and I'm just anxious for the future, man, but it's bittersweet leaving it.
Just grateful, very grateful for the guys that I play with, the coaches, and just the whole NDSU as a whole. It's been a blessing.
I don't really know how to put it into words right now. I mean, I just love these guys so much. I love NDSU, and I'm just so thankful for everything.
As for the future, the Bison look to remain competitive with quarterback Trey Lance, who was named Most Outstanding Player of the championship game.
There's a reason he won all the awards this season. He's a special dude. Coach Hedberg knows what he's doing, as you can see from the past quarterbacks we've had come through here, and he's the next on that list.
With this 28-20 victory, NDSU becomes just the second Division I program in history to go undefeated and untied in a 16-game season. Last time it happened, the 1894 Yale Bulldogs. Historic company for NDSU to join to cap off one of the most impressive decades in college football history. The next time fans can see the Bison in action will be the team's spring game, which as of now is not yet scheduled. It also appears the NDSU football team is headed to the White House for a second straight year. This is a tweet from North Dakota Senator Kevin Cramer from January 25th, saying President Trump told Cramer to invite the team back to Washington, quote, to celebrate perfection. Trump asked about how the program has won like they have with different coaches, to which Cramer responded, Bison culture. NDSU went to the White House in March 2019 after a 15-0 season in 2018, becoming the first FCS team since Youngstown State in 1995 to receive an invite. This impending visit does not yet have an arranged date. Donald Trump just became the first president in U.S. history to have a senator from his own party vote to remove him from office. That Senator Mitt Romney voted to convict Trump on one article of impeachment on Wednesday. The backlash against Romney from Trump loyalists and the president himself was swift. CNN's Suzanne Malveaux reports.
An expected ending to the impeachment trial.
Donald John Trump be, and he is hereby, acquitted of the charges in said articles.
With an unexpected twist, Republican Senator Mitt Romney voting with Democrats to convict President Trump on the first article of impeachment for abuse of power. Romney's vote stunning his GOP colleagues and the White House.
The president asked a foreign government to investigate his political rival. The president's purpose was personal and political. Accordingly, the president is guilty of an appalling abuse of public trust.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell declaring victory.
This is a political loser for them. They initiated it. They thought this was a great idea.
Romney becomes the only senator in American history voting to remove his party's president from office. The former Republican presidential nominee says his faith guided his decision.
I take an oath before God as enormously consequential. I knew from the outset that being tasked with judging the president, the leader of my own party, would be the most difficult decision I have ever faced. I was not wrong.
Romney joined with all Republicans to acquit the president on the second charge, obstruction of Congress, including these three Republicans who Democrats had hoped to sway.
Mr. Romney, not guilty.
But the damage was already done. Romney, who was endorsed by Trump when he ran for president in 2012, is now receiving an avalanche of attacks from the president's closest allies.
He wanted to be president, he's not. I'm shrugging my shoulders because it really doesn't matter. In other words, he wasn't the swing vote. They were 20 votes shy.
He's not brave, he's a coward.
You vote your conscience, but you got to use common sense.
And Trump himself slamming Romney in a late-night tweet, mocking his failed presidential run.
Ms. Sinema, guilty.
All Democrats, including 3 red state senators who were undecided, united in voting to convict Trump on both articles. Democratic leader Chuck Schumer blasting Republicans for their handling of the trial.
The Republican majority has placed a giant asterisk, the asterisk of a sham trial, next to the acquittal of President Trump, written in permanent ink.
Even without a conviction, lead House impeachment manager Adam Schiff says he's leaving the process optimistic.
What Mitt Romney did, what a number of very courageous Democratic senators did, really justified the faith the founders put in their system of self-governance, that people would have sufficient virtue to stand up for what was right.
President Trump did speak today following his acquittal. Up next on Bison Information Network News, an update on the water emergency at Menard Hall, how long it could take to get everything repaired. Plus, we'll spotlight a new campus landmark and how much it costs to put it up. Just in time for the first week of classes this semester, Menard Hall suffered a setback, water damage. On January 17th, the day classes after 11 a.m. were canceled due to weather, a sprinkler line froze and burst around 8:30, affecting both the math and English departments. This is video weeks after the incident, and work is still ongoing. Students and faculty have done what they could to preserve some of the affected items.
By the time I did get up here, they were letting us, up into the space, but there was, 3 inches of water on the floor in certain places. It was kind of chaos. It was like the equivalent of paper and book triage is what I would call it, where every faculty member who was up here was like literally grabbing books and papers and any technology that we saw, we were pulling it to just dry places.
According to a report from the NDSU Spectrum, repairs are projected to take about 1 to 2 months. If you've driven east on the 12th Avenue Bridge toward campus at night, you may have noticed a new beacon of light overlooking our campus. This is ALDEVRON Tower, connected to Sudrow Hall on the 14th Avenue North side. The building is 6 stories tall and costs $28 million in private funds. The tower aims to be a space for students majoring in all health disciplines to work collaboratively with one another, and it also provides more open study spaces and huddle rooms. University officials hope the tower incites an enrollment increase to meet the growing needs for health professionals in the region. The Rape and Abuse Crisis Center is putting on its annual spoken word event next week at the Century Theater. Bison Information Network reporter Sam Goodman gives us the details.
So the Violence Prevention Educators are a peer education group on campus. We have mostly undergraduate students, but it's open to graduate students as well. And what they do a lot of different events on campus about violence prevention. So things like the We Take a Stand education that we do for all incoming freshmen and transfer students. They do workshops throughout the year on different topics like knowing your rights on campus or human trafficking. And then we have the Vagina Monologues coming up, so that's an event that they've been planning for a while as well. So the Vagina Monologues, it's an episodic play, so it's a series of monologues, and it's on topics like consensual, non-consensual sex, traumatic experiences, women's menstrual periods, and it's read by various actors who read each of the monologues throughout, and it focuses on different women from different intersections of life.
So the Vagina Monologue is February 13th at the Century Theater. It starts at 7. Tickets are $5. Sam Goodman, Bison Information Network News.
Still to come on Bison Information Network News, it's Career Expo time. What types of businesses will be available to hear interested students' elevator pitches? And some familiar faces on NDSU's website. The NDSU 2020 Career Expo starts next Tuesday, February 11th. This is video from last year's Career Expo. The event offers a 2-day presentation for employers to connect with students interested in co-op and internship opportunities. The first day will feature companies in agriculture and humanities, while the second day will feature companies in engineering and design. The Career Expo is open to NDSU students and alumni of all majors and will be at the Fargo Dome from 1 to 4 p.m. on Tuesday and 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Wednesday. If you logged onto the NDSU website in the last week, you might have noticed a few familiar faces. Bison Information Network was featured front and center on ndsu.edu from the last week of January until this week. This is a picture taken during a practice run-through for our November 7th newscast. Alex Hart is in the director's chair, and Joe Thompson, Sam Goodman, and myself are waiting for direction at the anchor desk. Students interested in joining Bison Information Network can stop by our Memorial Union studios or send an email to generalmanager@ndsubin.com. Now let's take a look at the upcoming weather for the Fargo-Moorhead area this week. As for today, we saw some light snowfall on campus and had a tolerable walking temperature of around 20 degrees. Tonight we'll continue to see falling temperatures that dip down into the single digits with a wind gust around 14 miles per hour overnight. Now on to our 7-day forecast. Friday will continue this cooling trend we've experienced of late with a low of -7 degrees. We'll warm back up slightly for the weekend, topping out in the low 20s for highs under mostly cloudy skies. The warm-up trend will continue into the start of next week, but we still may not see a lot of sun. Partly cloudy and 28 degrees on Monday, while cloudy and 26 degrees on Tuesday. Wednesday might be our next best chance of snow before we drop back to more chilly weather by the end of next week. Up next in sports, some Bison football players are getting their chance to go pro, plus an update on both NDSU basketball teams. So we've already covered the Bison football team won another national championship. So then what was next then for the players? Well, 3 now former players got an opportunity to get their talents evaluated by NFL scouts. Edge rusher Derek Tuska and tight end Ben Ellefson got to play in the East-West Shrine Bowl on January 18th in St. Petersburg, Florida. Neither player played much, but both got into the stat sheet. Tuska recorded 1 tackle on defense, and Ellefson had 1 catch for 9 yards for the West team. Also, former cornerback Marquise Bridges got a chance to play in the Hula Bowl January 26th in Honolulu. Bridges was also representing the West in that game, but no stats are available. Stick with Bison Information Network for the latest on these potential pro Bison. As for the rest of the team, they received quite the welcome home. At halftime of the men's basketball game January 25th, team members poured onto the floor with all 8 of the program's FCS championship trophies. Quarterback Trey Lance also received his Offensive Player of the Year trophy, the Walter Payton Trophy, that he earned back on January 10th. Both Lance and head coach Matt Entz got to address the fans on all the team's accomplishments.
Hey, everything you guys do for us, making this the best college football program in the country. We're going to continue to represent the state of North Dakota and North Dakota State in the very best manner.
For all you guys' love and support, we really do appreciate it. I know sometimes it goes unnoticed, but we love you guys. I just want to say thank you to my teammates, my family, and everyone that supported us. Go Bison.
Entz was also named the AFCA FCS Coach of the Year. Summer League play has started strong for the Bison men's basketball team, looking to reclaim a spot in the Big Dance. After an 8-5 start to the season out of conference, NDSU is currently 8-2 against conference teams following an 86-78 road win against Omaha last night. Vinny Shaheed and Tyson Ward combined for 48 points and 12 rebounds in the victory. 3 Bison players are averaging double digits per game, led by Shaheed 17.5 per game. After a stretch of 4 of 5 games away from home, the Bison are back at the Shields Center against Oral Roberts at 1 o'clock on Saturday. January was easily the most successful month of the season so far for Jory Collins and the NDSU women's basketball team, and the last time the team played at home against Denver, they left a positive impression. The Bison had already given up 91 points to the Pioneers in their Summit League opener, but allowed just 33 in the first half here. Denver would go on a 10-2 run in the third quarter as this 3 from Megan Boyd put the Pioneers ahead 49-41. But NDSU's been resilient this season. Here comes a nice pass here from Emily Dietz to a cutting Riley Nudell. Count the basket and the foul. The Bison would take the lead in the fourth quarter, but it wouldn't last long though, as this teardrop on a handoff from Boyd drops on the baseline, and Denver's up by 6 late in the game. But NDSU though, they keep hanging around. Emily Dietz was money all night. She gets the pass down low. This shot ties it at 69, and this game would head to overtime. And in the extra period, the Bison would cash in. From down low, the freshman Ryan Cobbins goes up and under, good plus the foul. The Bison won this one 85-80 and are currently 3 of 5 winners entering tonight. At the time of this broadcast, they are leading Omaha late in the fourth quarter. Earlier today, the Minnesota Timberwolves made the acquisition it couldn't make back in July. The team has traded for Golden State Warriors guard D'Angelo Russell. Here's what exchanged hands in this trade. The Timberwolves acquired Russell and 2 bench players from the Warriors in exchange for former #1 overall pick Andrew Wiggins. Minnesota also sent 2 draft picks to Golden State in the deal. Russell was an All-Star in 2019, and this will be the 4th team of his professional career. And lastly, before we head to break, it would be remiss for us to not address one of the most shocking and heartbreaking headlines of the sports world in the last 2 months. Former Los Angeles Laker and future Basketball Hall of Famer Kobe Bryant passed away January 26th in a helicopter crash near Los Angeles. Bryant was traveling with his daughter Gianna and 7 other passengers on their way to a basketball game. None of the passengers survived the crash. Bryant will forever be remembered, not just for his athletic ability and achievements, but also his Black Mamba never-give-up mentality that inspired millions. This a sobering reminder to hold loved ones dear and cherish them for as long as possible. With this week's Iowa caucus results still being counted, the process has been met with some controversy. Bison Information Network reporter Sam Goodman asked students of their opinion on the matter in this week's Bison on the Street.
I think they probably should have figured out the app before they put it into use. And there's obviously polling missing because of it, and there's something going on.
Okay, so the app that they used to tally some of the votes was an app literally called Shadow Inc., which is sketchy, and the CEO was a huge Pete Buttigieg donor. And the regions of Iowa that they had the most sketchy data from are the ones that had previously polled the highest for Bernie. So it all seems pretty sus. And in the end, I think just makes people question the validity of stuff like that.
I think it's a mess. Everything I've heard coming out of it is kind of shoddy, it was very sloppily put together. Everything regarding the delegates just seems not great. It seems kind of like a sham.
I don't know what that is.
Shoot, bro, that's deep.
I actually don't even know what that is to begin with, so.
I've been just kind of steering away from it, not really looking into it a whole lot, just kind of stuff goes on day by day.
Gonna be honest, I don't know what that is.
To be honest, I don't really know what's going on with them. I don't know what's being reported or what's happening, so I can't say much.
On the what?
The Iowa caucuses.
I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea.
I'm not totally familiar with them, so probably the wrong person to ask.
Hand up here, I didn't pay much attention either, but it's good some of our students are. Now let's take one last look at the weather for the upcoming week ahead here in Fargo-Moorhead. We'll have a chillier day tomorrow with a low around 7 below, but temperatures will increase this weekend to the high teens and low 20s. A new week of school and work does come with even warmer temperatures, however, with mid to upper 20s for highs on Monday and Tuesday. There is some snow in the forecast for Wednesday, but it's currently labeled as a chance of snow. By the time next Thursday rolls around, we could be getting back to more frigid temperatures. Thanks for watching this edition of Bison Information Network News. More content is available on our YouTube channel, the Bison Information Network. We hope you tune in next week and have a wonderful rest of your evening.